be very kind to me by asking questions. Okay? Is that a remote? No. So what is this diagram? It is not done by designers. It is designed by cosmologists. And what they are depicting is the history of the universe. Okay. So there was a big bang, that's what they say, and there was extremely high temperatures, and there was expansion taking place. Okay. And then what starts happening is that when the expansion happens, then there's this diffusion of energy and the temperature starts falling. And when the temperature starts falling, there is some condensation of matter. Now, why I have taken this slide is that when there is condensation of matter, what is condensation of matter? It's energy getting transformed into matter, into mass. Okay? And different types of particles are coming together and they are forming a larger complex. Okay? So if you go to quantum mechanics, there are various types of quantum particles and they form a nuclei and electrons and molecules and atoms and so on and so forth. And whenever this happens, there is a binding of energy. And when there is binding of energy, there is further cooling that is happening. Okay? Now this gives us an important insight as to what design is about. It is binding chaos, preventing chaos. It is really important. And this you find happening. So this whole act of what? Of energy getting transformed into matter. To me, that is a design activity. Is resulting in further lowering of temperature, further positive. So one thing you design leads to the development of another design. Leads to the development of another design. So you have a material, and this material you can form structures out of it, and these structures can be combined together to form larger structures, can be combined together further to make machines, into control systems, into larger systems, and there's more and more order. So design is a very fundamental activity which has been happening right from the Big Bang, and it has led to the evolution of later on what you are saying is all types of radiations and particles and neutrons and electrons and so on and so forth, and then atoms are happening, and then atoms are colliding and combining together into larger clusters of gases and things like that, and into planets, into stars, into galaxies. Okay? So design is something very fundamental to the basics of universe. So that somebody said everybody is a designer, I guess I agree with him. That's what it is. Okay? Now coming to what? So we were looking at the universe, it was some 14 billion light years old, and this is 4 billion years ago. And here again you see the same. structuring needs. More and more complex activities getting formed. And as a consequence of that, the earth is a more habitable place. Temperatures are more uniform, less fluctuations are there. Because all this energy is getting bound and can be bound and it acts like a storage. Okay? And energy can be released by breaking these structures or can be absorbed by combining the structures. Okay? And this acts like a storage buffer. And there again you see how the brain has been involved. So if you look at a fish, for example, and you look at a spider, which is a more challenging situation as far as movement is concerned, for a fish or for a spider? So fish has a more homogeneous environment. It's all in the water. It can go in this direction, go into that direction. Less obstacles are there. But in an insect, the spider has more obstacles. So all of a sudden there is a pebble or a stone, and now it has to climb like this.
Which place you are in? Which brain?
So the brain is actually evolving in response to two things. One is movement, the capability to move. And the other is the ability to recognize patterns in the environment. So there are more difficult pattern recognition to be done on the land as compared to the ocean. So there is a massive amount of development of the brain in response to these two tools: movement and pattern recognition. And design has a lot to do with pattern recognition. There are some very interesting books on brain. There are videos also on the TED. I would urge you to take a look at it. There is one, Dr. Ramachandran, he's a neurosurgeon. He has a book also available for 400, 450 rupees. I'm just forgetting his name. A. Ramachandran, you can say on brain. And you get the response. फिर आगे क्या हो रहा है? So up now there are swarms of locust swarms, or large number of fishes going together, or birds flying together, or elephant herds and rhinoceros herds. Now this is the further challenge in the development of brain, development of complexity. So you begin with particles and you see how things have been evolving in the form of life forms and the development of the brain, and this is the further challenges that are there before the brain. And you have all these, let us say there's a herd of elephants or herd of deers. Are they moving around at random? Surely not. They have a challenge before. They have to find new pastures. So, the brain develops this capability to be able to meet uncertainty, to be able to go into the future. Unless you have that capability, all these things will die off. They make a wrong movement or a random movement and they just go around in circles. It is not fulfilling. My point essentially is that you also have the innate capability to look into the future, to meet the challenges of future, to be able to cope with uncertainty? Is they part of your basic evolution of the brain itself? Once you understand it, that you have that innate capability, life will be very easy for us to do. We can relax. Okay? Because now you will be able to master your capabilities. This is my greatest discovery. I am very proud of it. It is so fundamental, so simplistic. What is the horizontal axis? It represents creativity. Okay? And what is the vertical axis? It is representing care. These are the two most fundamental things, creativity and care, that is required for any designer, any functioning of the human brain. So either you will be thinking technically or you are thinking emotionally. You hate somebody, sometimes you will be thinking emotionally about that person. Sometimes you will be thinking technically how you can cut him off and chop him off and I can destroy him. So these things will be happening because these are essentially representing the size of your brain. Your ability to